What's up, everyone? Do you ever feel like you're not picking up as much information of your surroundings as you could/should be? Like your senses are dull, but it's not really because you're tired or not because you're distracted. You're there in the moment, but in terms of your situational awareness, for some reason, you're just not really dialed in. I used to think it was like just a problem with not having good focus, or it's just could become from lack of sleep. But from what I've learned is that I think it's something deeper, which is rhythm, not necessarily musical talent or dancing. I'm talking about the internal rhythm that links your body to your surroundings. And when that rhythm is either completely off or unsteady, then your awareness and your ability to direct your attention are going to be off as well. Rhythm isn't just about sound, it's about moving within the parameters of the beat, giving you the freedom to let go a bit and to just flow with the beat. It's kind of boxing you in to follow a certain rule. It gives you parameters that allow you to be a bit more free and flow with your environment. I think that your perception is strongly tied to how well you are flowing with the moment. When you have a rhythm, when your internal pulse is strong, you develop an ability to almost see things before they happen. That rhythm and pulse allow you to see subtler cues, allows you to control your gaze better. And this applies to all senses, but sight is usually our dominant sense. Like I talked about in a recent video, where you direct your eyesight is what you direct your energy to. So when your pulse is off, you miss the obvious, you over-hesitate, you misdirect your focus. I've learned about these things mainly through two disciplines, which are music and martial arts. In music, the best players and performers, they don't only hit the notes exactly on time, they're actually in the groove. And there's a difference between simply being on beat and actually being locked into the groove as a full body exercise. If your drummer slightly brings the tempo down during the set and you don't catch on to it by bringing your energy onto the drummer's same wavelength, then the band loses a lot of its cohesion. The emotions you're trying to convey, the story you're trying to tell, they become muddled. And in Muay Thai sparring, for example, which is my primary combat sport of study currently, similar issues arise. If you're a martial artist that doesn't know how to move off of a rhythm, you're stiff, you're unpredictable, and outmaneuverable. Even if you have decent technique in terms of your biomechanics and kinetic chain of the strikes and all that, then you're going to end up eating shots if you don't develop a natural flow. A fighter with rhythm, they hit and change directions way more effortlessly. Having this rhythm goes hand in hand with a high perception and a high fight IQ, which makes the fighter ready for what's coming even right before the exchange actually begins, because they're more in control of themselves and they're much more perceptive to the present moment because of that internal pulse that keeps them calm. When you attain this control, which is reached through a rhythmic flow, it's what I call a rhythmic sensitivity, because this flow comes from the ability to feel the smallest slices of time. Not just counting the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I'm talking about the tiny units and subdivisions between those counts, like the 64th notes, the 128th notes, and beyond. So imagine zooming in to a track in a music editing software. The deeper you zoom in, the more detailed that grid becomes, the smaller the lines become, because you're looking at the little subdivisions, and the best performers move within their own tiny little grid. It's what musicians call really being in the pocket. They're very sensitive to the rhythm, and then they actually feel all those tiny little subdivisions in their whole body. And the more sensitive you are to a rhythm, the more connected all your movements become. And then you save energy, you stop tensing up, you move smoothly, meaning that you're more able to adjust your tactics on the fly. Rhythm starts in the body, not in the mind. A good musician will dance, move around. A good fighter will always have that little bounce from foot to foot, shifting their weight, like their feet are springs, which they kind of are. They're always feeling that internal pulse. That pulse keeps you ready. You're not just reacting anymore, you're predicting, you're directing. I kind of visualize it in terms of two different graphs. So we have the step function, which has breaks in it and jumps up in discrete intervals. And if you contrast that with a polynomial function, which has a smooth continuous curve, and that smooth continuous movement is what you become when you live in a rhythm. And you're always in motion. You're always looking ahead because hesitation is defeat. Rhythm reduces the lag between perception, decision, and action. And I've learned some couple of ways to train this. For example, for the musicians out there, when you're playing an instrument, then habitually move in time when playing, never too still. Bring the whole body into it. If you practice martial arts like boxing, Muay Thai, or whatever, shadow box with that beat in mind, shifting the weight from foot to foot. Always keep moving, including the head movement, which is also just important for not getting hit as much in the head. You can also try inhaling and exhaling on a count. Say, breathe in for four steady counts, breathe out for 4 steady counts. You can do this, you can combine this with walking too. Walk with a steady tempo and combine it with your breath and have them overlap on the same pulse. You can add your gaze into this because, again, it needs to be a full body thing. So let's say you're walking, you're breathing, it's all lined up. You look somewhere for 2 beats. Then you focus your gaze somewhere else for 3 beats. It's about being intentional about where you look and for how long you look. You can also play a basic rhythm, tap out a basic rhythm, and really try and feel the little subdivisions inside of it. And if you want to get your rhythm really good, then there's a book that I've been using called Rhythmic Training by Robert Stair. Now, the goal is not to become a human metronome where you just go back, forth, perfectly on beat the entire time, because even the best musical acts, they leave room to breathe. The tempo flexes slightly, the band. But when those changes are natural and intentional, then that is what pulls you into the present. As I said before, when the body's present, the mind has to follow. When you're in rhythm, you're sharper, faster, more precise. You make better decisions because you have better info for what's coming, and you feel more too. Finding the groove, it's not just for drummers. It's for anyone who wants to interact with life more deeply. Remember that your most effective and stylish moves come from a steadfast inner pulse.